Hey, it's About Town Deb. I'm here with Jaime Chapman, and we have Peggy with us on set. What are we going to be talking about this show?
Say hi, Peggy.
What are we going to talk about?
Oh, all sorts of things. Peggy, dog rescue, blindness, new tours, events,
lots of stuff. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
In Nevada near the silver mines, there's a kind-hearted woman. She's looking so fine, always taking care of her community. Bringing folks together is her cup of tea. She's out on the road and all over the web with a big smiling heart. It's About Town Deb.
And welcome to City Talk. I'm About Town Deb, W. McCarthy, with Jaime Chapman, Pineapple Pedicabs. Yeah. I am so excited to be back. We keep tweaking the set because there's other plans in store, but one step at a time. Today we have a special guest with us. Who's with us?
This is Peggy.
Hi, Peggy.
Well, Peggy the pug. Peggy the blind pug.
We're going to be talking about Peggy. But before we do that, let's just give a shout out to our sponsors.
Definitely.
So, Surratt Law Practice. And if Kim was here, she would be all over Peggy. And she would love the fact that you have a dog rescue. That is a big deal. I've done that as well. So that's the only way I would want to get a dog. And we also want to thank Crystal Basin Cellars. And we're switching to a new distributor. And as soon as I get all the final papers signed, I'll let you know. And I'm thinking our first tasting will be at the Midtown Spirits Wine and Bites sometime in February. If you know how, signing papers and stuff, it could take a while. And Angel Fenix Productions right here in Sparks, Nevada at the Musicians Rehearsal Center. We've got that done. So what have you been up to, young lady? I know this holiday season, let it glow. I talked about it on my last show. Yes. We announced the winners.
It's over.
It's over. But I mean, your team. Yeah. And all the different entities between Midtown, Downtown, the partnership, Wells, the Brewery District, everybody came together.
Everybody came together. It was really great. It's man, I feel like I've taken a break from it. I'm like, what happened?
Isn't that weird how that happens? Like,
you're like,
did it really
all
happen?
Day, every day, and then now it's thankfully it's a little break. I'm really happy with everything turned out. You were at the last party.
It was incredible.
It went really well, and
I love the energy. Start planning for the next one.
December 2023.
Isn't that crazy? You just finish an event. You have, if anybody of you out there, y'all do events. As soon as you finish the one, you have a recap and boom, you're picking the date for the next one and you're getting your committee.
It's really
so really, there's not a whole lot of break between big events like that. And you, with your team, combining many entities of the city, that's a lot of coordination. And I know that this next year it's going to be bigger because everybody got to see, whoa, this is a big deal.
Yeah,
I want to be a part of it. And the lights are going to be. You can be.
Everybody can be.
Anybody. Yeah, but we're excited to share it with everybody coming into Reno because it's going to be, it is spectacular. But next year, we're going to have even more lights.
It's going to glow even brighter.
It's going to glow brighter. And you're going to want to be the first one to get off that plane or drive over the hill and come see it.
You'll see it glowing from the sky when you fly in. Like Burning Man.
Oh.
I keep saying it. One day we'll be brighter than Burning Man.
Oh, well, that's going to, maybe that's going to be.
Are there enough LEDs?
Could that be like Reno Sparks? You may have to have Reno and Sparks and Sun Valley all together. That would really be something.
I got big goals.
Yes. So, quote for today.
Ooh, let's hear.
It's really for Martin Luther King Jr. Day. I have a dream. And then I'm saying, what is your dream? And my dream is for a better world. And I use my hashtag, Together We're One Heart, because I feel like everybody needs to be loved and valued and respected. And together, we're walking this journey together. And every day there's trials and tributes and celebrations. And I know it seems tough out there to take on the task of trying to be there and be present. But I think if we take one day at a time and we remember that we need to be patient and have kindness and humility and grace and forgiveness is a big deal. So I really want to go into my 2023, just taking the time to just be still, take a breath, and instead of jumping to conclusions, instead of thinking I know what they're thinking, it's better to just go, that could just be me. Let's pick up the phone. Let's have a conversation. instead of thinking, what are they thinking? I'm not worrying about what somebody's thinking about you or about your friends. I think you just need to focus on what's inside your heart and be kind to who's around you. That's kind of my goal. Just be patient and kind.
It's funny. Yeah. So one of my big ones for 2023 was to be more present. So I'm like, we're constantly on our phones and doing these things. And so like, I've like made a rule. I got a regular alarm clock and there's no cell phone in bed. And I'm trying to work on like active listening techniques.
Wait, what's that? What's
being present?
What'd you say?
Active?
Like I thought you said
listening.
Active listening. I thought you said like an octave, like a music note.
Yeah. Cause I think it's hard. Like sometimes, you're like listening, but your brain is doing all these, like a million things. And so it's like, just be more present in the moment. I think that we get everything's so fast paced, and you said stillness and just slowing down and listening and taking that time.
You know what I'm guilty of? So I'm going to make a confession. How many times have any of us, even you listening out there, have you been on a call? You have it, you're on a call and you either have it on speaker or you have this and you're like in your office
and
then you're scrolling. Oh, I have to answer that text.
Yes.
And then you forget and you don't and the volume's on. I was talking to Georgia today and all of a sudden whatever I was looking at, she goes, what's that? And like the whole song came on and I didn't mean to do that, but I was trying to think I have to go to the show. I got to do this. So there's got to be a way to just be more, like you said, when you're on a call, like maybe just put the phone down or turn it over and focus on who you're talking to.
Exactly.
I'm just being honest. I'm sure I'm not the only one that's done that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of like, even think about when you had a corded phone, you weren't scrolling, but you're cleaning the house.
Yeah,
you're doing all these other things. They had those extra long cords so you could multitask while you talk on the phone.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's along the same lines, but yeah, we do need to be more present.
It's made it tougher having the phone right there and having the whole world in front of you to look something up or to text somebody else to answer while you're talking to somebody. So maybe presence. I think presence and patience are what I'm going to do. But we're going to take a first break. When we come back, we're going to see what Jamie's been up to because she's quite the character, and she has become the most amazing, incredible connector in our town in Reno, and she's beloved by us all. So we'll be right back. It's About Town Deb and Jamie with City Talk. Hang tight.
And Peggy.
Now more than ever, family matters, and Surratt Law Practice has your family in mind. Kimberly Surratt and her team have been helping maintain healthy families through their holistic approach to adoption and surrogacy, child custody, estate planning, and more for over 13 years. Your family law concerns are in caring hands with Surratt Law. Schedule your private consultation with a compassionate Surratt Law Practice team member today by calling 775-636-8200 or visiting lawyersforfamilies.com. Surratt Law, where family matters.
You're enjoying this episode on Angel Phoenix Productions Podcast Network. To explore a complete lineup of quality programs and media production services, head on over to angelphoenix.com or like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Angel Phoenix Productions.
She's out on the road and all over the web with a big smiling heart. It's About Town Deb.
My town, your town, or any town, this is About Town Deb presents City Talk. Now, back to the show.
And welcome back to City Talk. I'm About Town Deb, Debbie McCarthy, and there's Peggy. We don't want to forget we have little Peggy here. And we have Jaime Chapman with Pineapple Pedicabs. But today, Jamie is going to be the amazing Jamie. She's going to talk about Pineapple Pedicabs. But, it's a new year and there's remodeling done. And then you've had some, we've had poor little Peggy's had some life changes. And so what do we want to talk about first? Because I think they're both really important.
Yeah, and they don't go hand in hand.
No,
we can talk about little Peg.
Let's talk about how you first got little Peg.
I got Peg almost a year. We're almost on our 1 year anniversary. I got her around Valentine's Day last year. And I do a lot of fostering. I used to foster a lot of dogs from kill shelters out of Merced.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I don't do so much anymore because I have a full house. But some people had heard that I fostered and they abandoned little Peggy at my house one day. The story's kind of long, but she came from a meth house.
Okay, no, this is okay. And, we want people to know we need to be there for other Peggys.
Yeah, so she just got abandoned, and I was going to foster her, or I pretended I was going to for like an hour maybe, and then I was like,
but you pretended for an hour.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, maybe I'll foster her. Well, when I first got Peggy, she didn't look like this. She had a lot of infections in her face and her ears, and she actually weighed, she said 89, 20. 7 pounds. She was 7 pounds heavier. She was 24 pounds. She's now 17 pounds. It's like over 20% of her body weight that she's lost. And she had all these infections, and she's been to the vet several times, and she's doing a lot better, but she did just go blind for real, and she will not get her vision back, but it's nothing. It's just blindness. She'll be okay. She's going to live a healthy,
how that happens, or was there a reason, or do we know?
No, it's called SARDS, sudden acquired retinal detachment syndrome or deterioration syndrome, and they don't know why it happens. It can just happen
to any breed.
To any breed. It's most common in females and females that are spayed. Which is weird.
What the heck? Us women.
And then,
jeez,
right?
What the heck?
And then pugs, and I think there's like different breeds that are more acceptable to it. Yeah. The coolest thing though, through this experience is I learned that there's doggy ophthalmologists. Did you guys know this?
I did not know that.
So Peggy has an ophthalmologist now, and that we go to. And there's actually doggy neurologists. Yeah. So they're not anywhere close. They were like, if she needs to go to the neurologist, it's like a big cost thing that you have to weigh, like the pros and cons, because like you have to travel, and then, MRIs for dogs is like, is it worth it? It's like a whole thing. Thankfully, Peggy didn't have to go see the neurologist, but she's been to the ophthalmologist twice. They're wonderful. It's been a good experience, because just like going through this, like Peggy adapted really well, but we, on the other hand, I took it really hard.
Yeah. So
it's been life-changing.
So how have you changed your habits or things in the house? I don't know. I mean,
no. It's funny.
Know.
So we did a scent thing. So we made each room a different scent, and I put rugs at the entrance of each room, so she knows where she's going. And so she's adapted really well that way. Sharp corners.
So you'll say, go to, like, you teach her the bedroom is this scent, or the bathroom.
Well, she just learns it, because when she's in there, she'll be like, oh, this is the smell in this room.
But do you say you're in this room, you're in this room?
Not really. But there's just like little things like that. Like, so now she's more aware of like the rooms. I made her a ramp because she used to always jump off the bed. And now I'm like, oh, you can't be jumping off the bed. So we built her a ramp up to the bed so she can get on and off easier without jumping. Oh, I made her a water fountain water bowl. So now she can hear where the water is. Oh. We actually travel with that. So like if we go to like my boyfriend's house or someone else's house, that she can always find the water, because that's been like a big issue. There's like weird things you don't think about.
Is the food always by the water too?
Yeah. So, and she only gets fed. She gets fed twice a day.
So that
when
would be a habit. I tap it. Yeah. And then she would know it's time to go get my food. Yeah. Plus she could smell it. As we saw today.
Oh, this is what I was going to say. I was like, Peggy goes blind, and you're like, you want to take all care of her, and you're trying to make all these things for her. And I left her. So I take her a lot more places, and I left her in the car, and I had gone grocery shopping to make supper. I go to another grocery store, and I come back to the car. I'm like, Peggy, like, she like is bloated. And I'm like, what could you have gotten into, And I'm like, don't think about it. I go inside and I start cooking supper. We were making chili, and I'm like, where's the beef? Like, where's the ground beef? And I'm like searching. I'm like, maybe I left it in the car. And I go to the car and I find it was 1.5 pounds. I found the styrofoam that the beef was in.
Oh, she's like, don't tell on me, mommy.
Peggy ate 1.5 pounds of raw beef. She's 17 dangerous? Pounds. Yes.
So what happened? Did you like call the vet and say?
Yes. So she was like, she was having the runs all over my house. And I'm just like, oh my God. Like, if she isn't, enough. And then it got so bad, like she couldn't sleep. She was pacing and pacing and pacing. And I was on the emergency vet with the vet for hours, like throughout the night. Like they were checking on her to see if she needed to come in. But just a lot of indigestion for a couple of days, but she made it through it. So her sniffer still works. She still is on me.
Has she done that before?
No, actually, I think blindness has made her more of a trash dog. Like now I have a magnet on the trash can. She keeps getting into the trash. I'm like, I don't understand. Like, she's more ornery if that was possible.
And so you were saying earlier that when you took her in, what was her diet?
So when Peggy got dropped off, she came, like I said, from a meth house, and the woman that dropped her off was like, you have to take her. I'm going to kill her. Like, she only eats Cheetos. We can't get her to eat anything else. And like, I'm like, what? Like, she was like, this dog lives on Cheetos. That's why she was, so hefty. But now she's on a healthy diet. But they did say that like the eye and other issues that she's had could have been from malnourishment and stuff. There's no idea. Like, she's got like a gash on her side.
She's healthy.
She's had a rough.
And even though she can't see, she's making up for it with her sense and her, her hearing and her smell, and everybody loves her. And sometimes she's even in the basket, the Pineapple Pedicabs.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you can like hold her when you're doing the ride.
Yeah, so you did.
I held her. I held her. It was really cool. I did. It was really cool. So anyway, so how has your life changed being able to rescue Peggy?
Oh, both of my dogs were rescues. Okay. I also have a girl named Bill.
A girl named Bill.
Yeah. So I got Bill the day they were going to put her down. And that was the day that Bill Withers passed. Oh. So she's Bill Withers' namesake. Even her collar is engraved. It says, "Ain't no sunshine when she's gone."
Oh,
so she's
you're so cool.
A special little girl too. Yeah. And it's funny because I have two rescues and they're both purebreds. Like, Bill was a 94% purebred German Shepherd. We did the DNA test, and Peggy. Two little opposites.
But it's incredible. So thank
sisters,
you. But you know what, Jamie? It takes a lot for people. Thank you for doing that, because if you're out there, really seriously, guys, there's so many animals, not just dogs, cats, horses, any of them, who are just in need of a good home.
Yeah, it's a rough situation with the rescues.
And I think also, if you think about it, when COVID hit, everybody wanted a dog, everybody was home, and I wonder if they still, how it's working now. Maybe they're back at work, or sometimes
there was a thing. So I do work with a group of women that rescue these dogs out of Merced County. And it's a kill shelter in Merced. So if anybody does want a dog, there's definitely like a way to save them when it's like a critical time. But they did get a huge influx of dogs after COVID, and people went back to work.
That just kind of makes me sad. I mean, I would love to have a dog. I mean, growing up, I had cats, but then once my kids were little, we've always had a dog. And then I had a dog with when I was caregiving my dad. And then once our dog we had to say goodbye, I did want to get another little dog because I didn't want my dad tripping over it, or even though it was a good therapy dog, I just was being safe, and I'm not home. Now I'm not home enough. And I feel like if you can't be there with your pet, like, why? I don't know. I mean,
yeah, I think it's tricky. It is. Yeah, it's definitely a commitment. I mean, I work from home most of the time.
But see, you're on set.
I bring them with me.
You're holding Peggy. I mean,
Peggy's going to go flying her first trip because
whoa, what do you mean?
I'm like worried. It's hard to care for a blind dog, and I can't like trust. Yeah, so she's coming. Yeah, she just got a little thing to fit under the seat, and she's going to go meet her grandma and her nieces and nephews.
She's gonna look. I'm telling you, she's ridiculous. Needs to be here. No, she's very well behaved too.
Oh, she's wonderful.
Good job, Peggy.
Yeah, hear that?
Yeah. So have you always been? I did. Oh. So how many animals have you had? Have you always been interested in saving, rescuing?
Yeah, I mean, I went several years without a dog because I was traveling, like you said. But then once I like settled down in Reno, I started a business. I was like, well, I can start fostering. And then Bill was actually a foster fail. And technically, I guess Peggy was too. I've had lots of, they say they're fails if you keep them. I've had lots of foster successes. Why would that be?
I would think it would be successes.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you kept them.
You failed as a foster.
Well, I think you succeeded as a parent.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I became a parent.
You became a parent like twice, though. I think.
I bought a house because of Bill. When I first got Bill, we lived in a tiny 214 square foot micro studio.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was like it's like this set probably. It was tiny with a bathroom, with a bathtub, which is why I rented the place, because it had a bathtub. You like pedicab all night. You're like, I want a bathtub.
Oh my God.
And so it was me and Bill in that apartment for quite a while. And I was like, okay, we got to find something bigger.
Look at that. It's like me and Bill. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes me so happy.
She'll have to come on set next time. She's wonderful too.
She'll be on set next time. Well, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about what it's like to remodel, especially after the holidays. So hang tight. It's about Deb and Jamie with City Talk.
You're enjoying this episode on Angel Phoenix Productions Podcast Network. To explore a complete lineup of quality programs and media production services, head on over to angelphoenix.com or like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Angel Phoenix Productions.
You know that's what she said. Come on, let's have some fun with About Town Deb.
My town, your town, or any town, this is About Town Deb presents City Talk. Now, back to the show.
And welcome back. We have Peggy here, our superstar. She might be taking a nap. I'm not quite sure if you can see over there. And we have Jamie and, of course, got me, Deb, About Town Deb, Debbie McCarthy. So it was, again, Jamie, thank you for all you have done in the dog rescue world and continue to do, because we wouldn't have little Peggy right here. Oh, she says, let me take a nap, Mom. Look at Peggy's like, hello. She's so cute. So holidays are over. You worked your little tail off creating the Let It Glow, bringing our community together. Yes. And then you just decide to start a project redoing your basement. So tell us what it's like redoing a basement. And do you have tenants in the meantime? What's happening?
I took a week off, I think, maybe a couple days. I needed to do something down there. My house is 2 levels. It's set up like a duplex, and the basement just needed a lot of love. And so I think one little thing turned into a big thing. Then I was just like, I'm just going to send it and remodel the whole thing. So I have no idea what I'm doing. But
Are you doing it on your own?
Yeah,
of course she is.
No. I am doing the parts that I can. I have a boyfriend that's really handy. So
Thank goodness.
He's maybe instilling the confidence that I needed to be able to be like, I can do this. And he also provides all the tools. I now have like a full wood shop in my house.
Wow.
Which if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen me like making wood things for the last like couple months. And now I was just like, I'm just going to take the leap and remodel them. Yeah.
I mean, are you putting up new walls, taking down walls?
Yeah. Turns out I really, really like breaking down walls.
Oh, I agree. Where you take the hammer
and my
the drywall.
That is wonderful. I was like actually in the bathroom before I came in here. I was like trying to pick out the drywall out of my hair. So I was like, oh my gosh, it gets everywhere and it's super dusty, but it's a really fun.
It's therapeutic.
Process. Yeah. And then there's like so much of the prep that's just annoying where you're like, okay, I'm like sanding. And then you get really OCD with it and you're like, I'm patching these holes and I'm sanding. Oh, that's like a little off. Like I could make it more even. You sand and patch some more. And then you're like, I've spent, hours or a full day on this one room patching holes and this isn't the point. It's a rental. It's going to be,
Oh, it's a rental.
It's going to be a rental. I'm renting it.
But it's your house.
It's my house.
But you're renting.
I own the house.
But you want it to be nice.
Basement.
You want it
to be nice, but there's like a limit that you're like, this is okay. I mean, how many rentals have you gone in and like expected the walls? I'm like, this is completely flat. And there's not,
Well, I think
then they're probably going to want to hang things. But yeah, so working on the bathroom and the kitchen and putting in new flooring. We have, okay, so you guys remember those VCT tiles in schools? They're like squares and they're a bunch of different colors. They're kind of ugly, but they're almost indestructible. You can just you can clean them and bleach them and drop stuff on them. Well, we have a whole bunch of them in a whole bunch of different colors. And so you can make these really awesome patterns, like any kind of cool pattern that you can make out of squares. You can actually cut them and make triangles. So I have a whole bunch of different colors and that's what I'm putting for the flooring. So it's been this like fun art project on top of it. And I have a whole bunch of yellow tiles, which is obviously my favorite color. So I'm doing a lot of fun, like funky, like triangles and arrows and crisscrosses and stuff. So to add to the funness of it, it's kind of cool when it's not you're like, oh, I'm going to rent this. Where you can just be like, I'm going to go bold. Like this wall will be teal and this one's purple. And it's just like really funky down there. It's cool.
It's cool though.
Yeah, I really like it. I'm having fun. I'm like, maybe I should now flip houses.
You do not have time.
I'm into this.
Or maybe you'll find time.
I don't need it.
You know,
I don't need another job, but I do like this. It's just fun. Yeah.
So as you've been going through this process of, I'm going to do this and I'm learning, are you becoming more confident in yourself and your ability? And
Oh my
you feel
gosh.
like I can do anything now?
I think it's so much where you're like going into the project where you're just intimidated, being like, you have no idea, right? Like thinking about like what is behind drywall or how things are built and all these things that I think are very intimidating. You're just like, oh, I'm just going to get my hands dirty and start. And thank you for professors on YouTube and YouTube University or whatever.
So
like that is like.
So speaking of YouTube, so my son Joey loves to come over and do little projects with mom, meaning he's 32. So he's, but when he comes over, so we had to put in a new garbage disposal. So Joey, he goes, I've done it before, Mom. And so we're doing it. And he goes, well, I think I need to get out the YouTube. So we actually had the YouTube on. We would stop it and we'd follow and he'd go underneath and I'd help him. And it took both of us, but I felt like I actually helped him.
Yeah.
But watching the video, and there were different ones, we had to find one where the person was actually describing it right and not going too fast, but that was really good. And a shout out, Misty, my neighbor, if you're watching, which hopefully she will. She's one of those neighbors and she watches out for me. She comes over with her hammer and her tools and her shop vac, and anything I need done, she's like, I'm there. And she's incredible, but she's done it her whole life. She like changes her carburetor in a car.
Yeah.
And she gets out her little YouTube and changes. She's been fixing her car forever.
Yeah. I mean, I fix my own car too. And I think that's another one of those where you're like, it's super intimidating. And you're like, if that person can do it, why can't I do it? Or just try it.
Well, I know that when I was getting my first car, or when I was 15 and a half, when you do the whole drive, my dad used to say, until you can change a tire and change the oil, you're not going to get it. I was never able to do that, but somehow he forgot, thank goodness, because I cannot change a tire. I go to Big O and I bring a little snack and I'm like, excuse me, can you put air in my tire? And I give them like $5 or a power bar.
Costco does it too,
For free?
Yeah. If you have like a Costco membership and you need air or whatever, you can just go. Yeah.
Will they do it for you?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah. You drive by and get your like.
Well, I just do it. Big O's free too, but they're close to my house.
And Big O on Kitsky, what's his name that owns it? Greg. He's a wonderful guy. I love that Big O on Kitsky.
I have not. Mine's over by Safeway on my end.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they're really.
They're great too.
I pull in and they're like, oh, here she is again. Probably like I'm here with my little power bar saying, excuse me, and I'm always like, excuse me.
Yeah,
and they're like.
That's
they said,
cool.
you know what? We do it all the time. Don't worry about it. They don't ever even want to take it. But I said, no, thank you. I stopped you from working. By the way, my light has been on for like 3 weeks. So I need to go today on the way home and get that done.
And get it checked.
Yeah. I think it's just the weather. I think it goes on and off. When the weather warms up, I'm not quite sure. So that's the extent to I'm not very good at building things and fixing things. I usually have to have somebody come do that.
Well, I think that it's a passion too, right? Like I'm interested in building and creating and making. So this is a really fun project for me, but it wouldn't, I think it's something you want to do or you don't want to do. Like if you were not into doing something like this, don't try it. It's like, it takes you have to be very passionate.
Well,
there's a lot of hours.
You do a lot of stuff. So I'm going to throw a question at you because you seem to be fearless.
I'm ready. Well, I'm not.
What's your biggest fear?
Oh,
because you do everything and you take chances.
I'm constantly fearing that my dogs are going to get hurt.
Oh. No, that's legitimate.
It's not legit. Or like the people around me, I'm always like, oh, these people are safe. Everything's safe. I'm always worried that people are going to get hurt. Or, if my sister's like doing something, if she's like going to a party, I'm like, oh, like, be careful. Who are you going with? Like, I'm always like checking her. So I track all my family and stuff on Find My Friends. And
you're very protective.
Yeah, maybe that's it. But I would say those are my irrational fears. Like when Peggy first went blind, I was like, well, she will now be with me every second of every day. Like I had to go get waxed and I was like, I think she could sit on my chest. My boyfriend's like, nope, no. This is like not a smart, like healthy way to be in life. I'm like, so yeah, I guess I'm protective.
No, I would
What's
be
your
too.
Fear?
My fear? I don't like snakes.
Oh, you have like
a phobia. I do not like snakes.
It is a big phobia?
Like I don't like snakes.
You'd be like, oh, okay.
I would say my biggest fear previously was doing this, answering a phone. My biggest fear was saying hello on a phone.
Face them, huh?
Seriously, like answering a phone and saying hello was my biggest fear. And picking up a phone and saying, has that been? Hi, I would say the last 2 years.
2 years? How long has this podcast been
I've been doing it, but I mean, I've done it where, I'm getting old. Yes, it's probably like 5 years. Maybe 10. Yeah. I don't know. But I'm getting better and better, different things. And the phone thing, hello's fine now. I don't want to jinx myself, but make it, if I have to make a phone call, I used to like wait. If it was like making a doctor's appointment and you know how you're like, hello, I'm so-and-so, can I have whatever doctor? I'd go, and they'd go click. I'm like, then I would get my nerve up, click, and they wouldn't wait long enough for me. Or I'd say, I have a hard time on the phone. And once I say that, they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. Take your time. And then I could talk for an hour. So it was like this phobia. It was crazy. That I would say my biggest fear then would be having that return, having the speech thing come back, the stutter, the being afraid of that. That would be my biggest fear. Wow. I'm just being honest. Yeah. Because look at me now. I mean, if I couldn't be me, couldn't go to events, you wouldn't. But I like to share that because I want people to know that we all have our struggles.
And we can overcome them because, look at you now.
Yeah, and I am. So, time for a break. Our last break. When we come back, we're going to talk about what you're up to next and maybe some more fun questions. It's About Town Deb and Jaime and Peggy with City Talk.
Now more than ever, family matters, and Surratt Law Practice has your family in mind. Kimberly Surratt and her team have been helping maintain healthy families through their holistic approach to adoption and surrogacy, child custody, estate planning, and more for over 13 years. Your family law concerns are in caring hands with Surratt Law. Schedule your private consultation with a compassionate Surratt Law Practice team member today by calling 775-636-8200 or visiting lawyersforfamilies.com. Surratt Law, where family matters.
You're enjoying this episode on Angel Phoenix Productions Podcast Network. To explore a complete lineup of quality programs and media production services, head on over to angelphoenix.com or like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Angel Phoenix Productions.
Ready to help from her toes to her head. Just give her a shout. Call About Town Deb.
My town, your town, or any town, this is About Town Deb presents City Talk. Now, back to the show.
And welcome back. It's our final segment. It goes by so fast.
I was going to say that exactly. Like, how's it over?
Well, you know, I love all my co-hosts and my guests, but there's something about Jaime. Is that like a movie? Something about Jaime?
I feel Mary, but I'll take it.
I'll take it. No, isn't the Mary thing? Isn't the Mary thing like? Is that
with
movie with the pie?
No, that's American Pie. There's something about Mary with the Cameron Diaz and Ben Stiller and
there should be a movie, something about Jaime.
I'll take it.
Because seriously, I can just say it all the time. So there's just she just leaves this impression on our whole city, and it's like constant. And one day maybe she'll be mayor one day, or she'll be the ambassador of Nevada. I don't know.
Of Nevada. Now we're shooting big.
I'm shooting big because your vision, like you say,
appreciate your support.
No, you've got it. And you know that. Yeah. I literally, anytime and your event, just watching her work the room, and she was, organizing it. I know she was glad when it was done, but it was amazing. So I'm going to throw some fun questions at you because you are all about Jaime.
Let's go.
So I think I might be able to guess this one. And I want you
to get, okay, go.
I'll guess it, but you, okay.
Okay.
So I want you guys listening to say the same question. Would you rather live in a ritzy hotel or live in a cabin in the woods? Let's see what I think you would say a cabin in the woods.
I think that's a really hard one. Sometimes I like to be pampered. Is this like, is this New Year's or?
Oh, it's summertime. This is summertime. And then let's see what do you, I think your answer in the summer would be that. In the wintertime, maybe a cabin in the snow, I think vacation.
Absolutely not.
No. Okay.
I'm not a snow person.
I'm not either. So I like to look at it. So Ritzy Hotel in the winter.
Yeah.
And you want to be in a cabin in the woods in the summer.
Yes.
What do you think mine would be?
Ritzy Hotel?
I would say a cabin
in the summer. Is yours going to be the same?
No, actually, I would rather, I don't want to be, I like to look at the snow. I don't ski because I might break something. I wouldn't mind being a cabin in the snow with About Town Deb, red wine and candles and music and all this soup cooking and someone to pamper me. Yes. But I would love to. Haven't been to very many ritzy hotels. I wouldn't mind checking one out.
The pampering, yeah. And I say that, but I actually we just rented a cabin at Benton Hot Springs.
See?
For the winter. Have you been there?
No, I don't even know where it is.
You guys been there? It's down kind of by Mammoth.
Oh, I've been to Mammoth.
And it's really awesome. These Benton Hot Springs. I went last year and you each get like a personalized tub.
Ooh.
And like each campsite, and there's camping or there's cabins.
In the winter too.
In the winter.
We're talking
and
in the snow.
It's really nice to go in the winter. The tubs are like built up. So
is it like the hot tubs with the
they're natural hot springs.
Oh, I want to go.
Sorry.
Where's that? Benton Hot Springs.
And it's down by Mammoth. So it's like a 4-hour drive.
That's worth it.
Yeah. But I mean, now you have to reserve to get a cabin. I think they're booked till April or May. Yeah. So they're really cool, but you can camp. You can camp in the snow.
Okay. Here's another one. This is a little easier. Would you rather have a pool in your backyard or live next to the ocean?
Ocean.
I totally, that would be an easy one. Okay, here we go. Would you rather know how to scuba dive or know how to fly a plane?
Well, I know how to scuba dive, so I guess that one.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I was a diver.
And you're a diver.
Well, I lived in Key West for several years and Hawaii, so I was diving. I worked on dive boats actually.
Well, what was that like?
It was fun.
I mean,
how much time do you have?
No, but I'm saying
I've lived on several boats.
But I mean, were there mostly men or women? I'm just curious.
Working
on the dive boats or whatever you do on a dive boat.
It was probably majority men. Yeah, sometimes, I mean, it would fluctuate, but majority men. And we would take tourists that would come live on the boat, and then you'd take them out for a week or something. And we'd go diving or exploring.
I think there's a show. There's a show, a reality show.
Everybody always asks me if I was on that. I don't know. I've never seen it.
No, but it's like they would have
above deck or below deck.
Yeah. Yeah. You'd be, like you pour people their drinks, you feed them.
Some of them are like really ritzy where you wore like the polos.
For people and did you wear a polo?
Yes. Yeah.
Look at you. I can't even picture you in a polo.
Really?
Yeah.
I have pictures. I could show you. I can prove it.
Don't make me laugh. She can't make me laugh.
Those are the funny days.
Okay. So, let's hear. Oh, okay. Here we go. This one is a good one for you. I don't even know if I could say it. You know how I am sometimes. Right. Would you rather take a vow of celibacy or a vow of silence? I don't know why I picked that one because I want to start laughing.
I was like, is it a coin flip?
I don't know if you could be silent or the other.
Or celibate.
I know. Or you could say, I have celibate. To do both. Celibate?
Yeah.
Wow. Because you have to talk.
I like to talk, yeah.
Yeah, that probably would be me too. Because it'd be hard for me to go and not talk for my whole lifetime. Okay, here we go. Oh, here we go. This is another good one. Okay, for all you out there on your phones, here we go. Would you rather show friends every photo in your phone right now or read out loud every text you sent this week?
Photo. I have a funny story.
Wait, tell me. You'd rather show your photos?
Yes.
Okay.
I used to host these big parties in Key West, and you paid to come, and all the money went to build a new humane society down there.
Oh, look at you.
But at the party, and so, you know, they'd be huge. And it was when Apple TV first came out and my phone had hooked up to it to play the music.
Uh-oh.
But it was on we had to hook it up for some reason through the TV that went through the speakers, and the TV had to be on. And somehow it linked to my photos and went through every photo. Can you imagine? I mean, there's like photos that you take for people that are just for certain people. that were like got this huge party and nobody could get it to turn off. It was crazy. And it got stuck on there. So then, and this was at my house, but I lived with all dudes and I had all dude roommates. And so even if I wasn't there, and then for months after, if they'd turn the TV on,
they would see
still
it?
Be all of my
How do you
pictures.
get them out of there?
We didn't. I was just like, at the end, I was just like, fine. I mean, I guess you guys see what
You want to see?
I look like, even when you take those like mess up photos where you're like doing them.
Oh,
like
those were on there too? Oh.
Yes.
Oh, you don't want to know. Yeah, I have a lot.
Yes, it's like, and so I think I've dealt with that before and I could do it again.
So I'd say photos, because I take a lot of photos and I share a lot of photos and I share folders with all the events. So my photos are pretty much photos of events and people and family and work photos. So I don't have a lot of personal photos. I don't have any on mine because I don't.
Shouldn't.
I should. Might be fun sometime, but no. Being about to, I give my phone to people a lot. Wow. Which photos do you want? Pick them and airdrop them.
I think texts are pretty vulnerable too. I've been with the remodel. I've been binging a lot of murder, true crime podcasts. And they're always reading the person's text messages and how incriminating they are. Even, just taken out of context. And I've been thinking, I'm like, if I read this, like, even if these are joking texts, if they were like for an investigator, if I got murdered or something, or if somebody close to me did and they read these messages, I'm like overanalyzing all of them now.
Ooh,
thinking about
that's actually something to think about.
Yeah.
No, and also we're almost at our 2 minutes. I want you to tell what you're doing next. The other thing is sometimes I feel that the text can help you, because if you're in a relationship or something and it goes south and you have all these messages that are not very nice, but it shows you that you were in the right.
You
you go and you look and go, I'm good, good, and like,
because a breaking heart lies to you, and it makes excuses.
But when you read, it, you're like, things aren't going to change.
Yeah, I agree.
So anyway, so we're down to the last part of it. So let's hear about your new adventure coming up.
Okay, well, we have a few new tours coming up. Pineapple Pedicabs is going to release the date night tour again, which is a super awesome tour. It's all inclusive, VIP, red carpet treatment, where it's fine dining, speakeasy, and a show. So the show is Magique or Hush. I'm going to Hush for the opening. Yes.
Are you going to be there for the opening?
I don't think so, but we'll see. I'm going out of town. Oh. But yeah, so that'll be the event. That's the date night tour. That one's awesome. That's coming. It's the same as last year with a little difference, but a little different stops. But the cool new tour
go quick, so
that I'm looking at for Helps Naming, that will come out. The first one will be on February 5th.
Okay.
And right now we're playing with the name 90s Social Tour or something like that.
You need to spice that up. It is 90s.
I know it's a bad name. And so I need, if anybody has any ideas, but the idea of the main idea of the tour is it's a way to meet people without a phone. So it could be romantic or social, just get out and do something different in Reno. So I've rented the brew bike for it. Yay. So it's 10 to 15 people. You hop on, you hand over your cell phone when you get on. The driver and tour guide will be your photographer. I'm also going to give you disposable cameras that you can take photos with, and then I'll get them developed digitally and post them for you. But yeah, you're going to be able to stop, you're going to make a pint glass, etch on a glass. You'll get a glass to take with you. You're going to learn to make a cocktail, eat apps, drink beer, and learn to make a fun dessert.
Okay. So website,
pineapplepedicabs.com.
Okay. So it's About Town Deb. Follow me at About Town Deb. Remember, together one heart. And Peggy, thank you for joining us today. It is About Town Deb and Jamie with City Talk. We will see you next week.
This podcast was a production of Angel Phoenix Productions. Explore more episodes of this show or other great shows on the Angel Phoenix Podcast Network by visiting angelphoenix.com. The views expressed in this show do not necessarily represent those of Angel Phoenix Productions or its advertisers and may contain language that's unsuitable for younger listeners.